Hey, what's up, everybody? On this episode, it's going to be slightly different. I definitely want you to weigh in on these comments in the comment section, please, and let me know your opinion when we come right back. Welcome to another episode of Ringwalk Boxing Podcast. I am Bean. And today what I want to talk about was why I'm so passionate about boxing. I've been asked before. I was at a dinner table and just talking with family, and my mom asked, well, why do you love boxing so much? And a few other people have asked that, that I've heard through my family. And I'll give you a quick summary and a backstory of how this all came to fruition. So way back in 1988, I'm an 8-year-old kid, and my pop says, hey son, we're about to take a ride. So I get in Pop's car, ride to his Uncle William's house over in Lincoln Heights back in the day. And at that time, Mike Tyson was the man in boxing. So if you hear me big up Mike Tyson or me saying Mike Tyson this, Mike Tyson that, please understand, even though you may say he lost against Lennox Lewis and he had his share of losses and things, the nostalgia and the fact that that's the first person that I saw as a young kid, and I was attracted to what I saw in the fight game of boxing, Mike Tyson was my hero. So yeah, granted, there are boxers that end up outshining him or beating him, Holyfield, for instance. But Mike Tyson's going to always have that special place in my heart because, like I said, as a young kid, that's who I saw. I saw him versus Michael Spinks, and we saw Michael Spinks being very, very nervous coming into that ring because Mike Tyson had that aura about him back in the day where, he just created fear in his opponents. And once Michael Spinks got in that ring, man, it was pretty much all bad. Mike Tyson pretty much dismantled him in a few rounds and knocked him out cold. So Mike Tyson was definitely my childhood hero, and I'll always praise him as far as in the boxing world, that he was definitely one of my all-time favorites. Now later on throughout the years, Evander Holyfield was raising up in the ranks, a cruiserweight, fighting a lot of good fighters. Holyfield fought Burt Cooper, Michael Dokes, Muhammad Kawi, and that was in the cruiserweight, and then he eventually moved up to the heavyweight. So we saw Holyfield fight the likes of people like Riddick Bowe in a trilogy, 3 fights. Very, very good. If you're younger than me, go look up on YouTube, Holyfield versus Bowe trilogy. Crazy. And that was around 1992. Also, you want to look at Holyfield versus Mike Tyson, the 2 fights they had. Holyfield versus Lennox Lewis, they had 2 fights. That was in the later stages of Evander Holyfield's career. The first fight, controversial. The second fight, to me, could have been a draw, or maybe even a slight edge to Holyfield. That's what I like about boxing. Sometimes you get these controversial decisions, and them are the fights you want to go back and watch. The fights that people said, well, I felt this guy won. Well, I felt this guy won on points decision. I felt he won. So go back and run those fights back. You got so many good older classic fights like Timothy Bradley versus Pacquiao. In this era, Devin Haney versus Lomachenko was controversial. Holyfield versus Lennox Lewis too, controversial. So you want to go back and run those fights back because they were so tight, the fights could have went either way. And we also saw Holyfield fight the vet, going back to Holyfield, when he fought George Foreman. Big George Foreman came back from retirement, had a couple fights, and then one of his opponents was Evander, the real deal Holyfield. So shout outs to Big George Foreman, definitely a vet, back in the era of my dad's time. And he's a commentator in boxing. And also shout out to Evander, the real deal Holyfield, another boxer that I grew to like because that was my brother Tim's boxer. He always talked about Evander Holyfield, and eventually, although I was a Mike Tyson fan, I started watching Holyfield a whole lot too, throughout the course of the boxing. So let me know, what was the first fight you ever saw, and how old were you? If you remember the year, and what was the result of that fight? Take a trip down memory lane in your life and let me know what was the fight that piqued your interest and what made you be passionate about boxing. Once again, Mike Tyson versus Michael Spinks, the year 1988. I was 8 years old. So let me know yours in the comment section below. Peace, love all over the world, and I'll catch you on the next round here at Ringwalk Boxing Podcast. Peace.